Hi, this is Peter Schiff. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2009, and this should be a day that potentially will shock the world. Maybe the world is going to understand the inflationary implications of current monetary policy. But today, the Fed announced that it will be purchasing upwards of $1 trillion additionally worth of debt. Most of it mortgage debt and agency debt, but $300 billion in Treasury securities. Now, the initial reaction in the bond market was a rally, because the Fed's going to come and buying bonds, that's going to push up the price. But the fact that they have to print the money to buy the bonds is actually negative for bonds. Because by printing money, by debasing the money, they're making dollars less valuable. And what bonds are is promises to pay dollars. So by undermining the value of the dollar, what the Treasury is doing is actually bearish for bonds, not bullish. Now, it's bullish if you're looking to sell your bonds right now because the Fed is going to buy. But if you're looking to hold your bonds as long-term investments, this is a disaster for you, which is why I think many more people around the world are going to try to hit the Fed's bid, and why ultimately bond prices could drop sharply as a result of what the Fed did, despite the fact that the initial reaction was for bond prices to rise. If we look at what happened in other markets, the dollar index dropped by 3% immediately following the Fed's announcement. It's one of the biggest one-day drops ever for the dollar index. Gold prices rose about $50 an ounce. They were down about $20. We rose to up $50 move after the Fed spoke. In fact, gold stocks, the Gold Bugs Index, which was down 4%, ended the day up over 9%. A 13% increase in the price of gold stocks immediately following the Fed announcement. Also, if you look at the yield curve, there was a much bigger rise in the 10-year than the 30-year. So the yield curve steepened sharply on the far end. Again, that is showing that people understand the inflationary implications of what the Fed just did. And in fact, if you look at the news that was out today on the CPI, consumer prices rose by about 0.4% on the month, which annualizes out to a 5% annual inflation rate. If we're getting inflation running at an annualized rate of 5% in the biggest economic contraction since the Great Depression, imagine how powerful the inflationary forces already are. And of course, we know the government understates inflation in the CPI. So it's actually higher than what the government is saying. Now, of course, people are trying to claim victory over deflation. This is nonsense. The fact of the matter is, despite this huge economic contraction, we have so much inflation that prices are rising even when they should be falling. And of course, falling prices would be a benefit to consumers who are watching their income disappear, their assets disappear. But now, thanks to the Fed monetary policy, they have to also be further encumbered by a rising cost of living. And judging by what happened in the currency markets today, and judging by what the Federal Reserve is doing, the cost of living is going to get a lot higher for every American in the months ahead and in the years ahead. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about this in much greater detail later today on my radio show, Wall Street Unspun, which I do on my website at www.europac.net and on the shortwave. So make sure and watch later today, as I will be speaking in much more detail about what this Fed action means for the economy, for the market, for the dollar. And I think it should be putting to rest all the claims that the dollar is going to strengthen, that the safe haven is in dollars, in cash, in bonds. What the government is proving, what the Fed is proving, is there is no safety whatsoever in dollar-denominated assets. And the people who are going to lose the most in this crisis are the people who feel the safest right now, the people who have their money in CDs, that have their money in the bank, that so far don't think they've lost anything in the past year or two as this crisis has begun to unfold. Ultimately, they're the people who are going to be stuck holding the bag. It's the people who own dollars, it's the people who own treasuries that are going to get the bill for this party. They're going to ultimately have to pay for all the bailouts, all the stimuluses, all the bonus packages for the AIG executives and the Fannie Mae executives. All this is going to be paid for with inflation, which is going to hit the hardest the people who can least afford it, and also the average Americans who are going to see the value of their wages evaporate as prices are going to run out of control based on what the government is doing and what the government is threatening to do in the future. Anyway, that's it for today. I want to save up most of what I'm going to talk about for later today on my radio show, so don't forget to tune in.